to let jokes know, I did have a negative. One of my last tests on COVID was negative. This is just some lingering pneumonia I got to deal with, so it's not bad. I would not have come back to work without a negative test.
So, on these appointments, they're just filling vacancies, or?
We have one vacancy and several reappointments to go from there.
Okay. I'm always a little confused how that's.
You were louder?
We are not, Mr. Mayor.
Well, good morning. We're going to call our meeting to order. This time we will stand and have pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Joyce and prayer by Councilmember Reed.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would like to pray with us this morning, would you please remain standing? Dear God, we thank you for this day. We thank you because you have made it. We thank you because we shall all rejoice and be glad in it. We ask you to bless the agenda that is set before us on today and allow us to make decisions that is best for the city of Madison. Amen.
Amen. All our council members are present this morning. Approval of minutes of our previous meetings. Our work session of October the 30th, 2020. Our regular meeting, November the 9th, 2020, and our call meeting, December the 4th, 2020. If you have had a chance to read those minutes that were sent to us earlier.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
December 4th is not ready yet, so it would just be the work session and called meeting October 30th and the regular meeting. And I realize called meeting is not on the agenda.
Okay. Our work session of October 30th and our regular meeting on November 9th.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for October 30th and November 9th, 2020.
Second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposes, none. Vote.
I'm going to abstain, Mayor. I wasn't at the
Yes,
October
okay.
30th.
One abstention, Rick was not at one of the, at the meetings. Okay. Those minutes are approved. Thank you so much. Are there anything that need to be added to our agenda item this morning? If not, we're ready for our public hearing. Rezoning request by Jack Bone Neighborhood Commercial C2 to small lot residential R4 for tax parcel M22063. Bryce.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, turn it on.
There we go. Thank you. The applicant is requesting, as the mayor indicated, a rezone of about half an acre from C2, neighborhood commercial, to R4, small residential. This is off of Commerce Street as it's an undeveloped lot. It does not have an address at this time. In case you're wondering, just sort of a mental reference, this is right behind the old radio station. It is undeveloped, as I said. The applicant is seeking for this rezone so they can build this property residentially. The Planning Commission, when they heard this, there was no public comment, and they approved it with a unanimous recommendation. This is a fairly straightforward. This has historically been a residential neighborhood with a commercial edge to it, so this is on that boundary area, and this is merely just an adjustment to reflect sort of the demand for that. I will note in the comprehensive plan, while this is part of our commercial area, it is also on the edge of our residential area, and specifically the housing component of the comprehensive plan specifically calls out Beacon Heights as an area where we have a lot of opportunity for affordable housing, and this fit that role. So because of that, I did make that note in the staff report, so that as it's on the edge, it's undeveloped, and it doesn't have any frontage on any significant traffic arteries such as a state highway or a major road, this does not seem particularly an egregious, this is a mild adjustment. So it's still in compliance, in essence, with the comp plan because of the housing element. And that's basically it. It's fairly straightforward. If this is approved, the applicant plans on putting 1 to 2 houses on there.
Okay, thank you so much, Bryce. Is the applicant on this morning to make a statement? Is-
I'm not sure who caller one is, but
who-
that's Jack, yeah.
Would you like to make a statement to us, Jack?
Hold on.
We can't hear
Sorry,
her.
I don't know why it's only coming through here. Go ahead and talk, Jack, and we'll see if we can get you.
Lot down that residential road, I don't think is it's not gonna happen anytime in the near future. In my opinion, we need more affordable housing than we do commercial down in a residential subdivision, so that's the reason for the request.
Can I ask him a question, Mr. Mayor?
Public hearing is now open. Yes, ma'am.
Jack, can you hear me? Yeah, 'cause
What y'all are saying, I can hear what you say, I can't hear what y'all are saying.
Well, go ahead and ask that question, Carrie, and we'll relay it to Jack.
when you say affordable housing, exactly what do you consider affordable?
So, Jack, Carrie's asking what you consider affordable.
They just built 2 on the other side that are around the 250 range, and that's I imagine that's where it's going to come in. With the cost of building materials now, it's hard to build anything for less than 250. But that's unfortunately what is affordable these days.
What did he say? I mean, I didn't.
I think he said 250, I'm not
250.
sure.
The building costs are such that unless you have some kind of subsidy or some kind of, that you can't build less than what the value is, because it's just the building costs are so high. And they've gone up during the pandemic, so.
Yeah, lumber is at an all-time high right now.
I think it's gone down a
All
little bit.
building materials are. So.
Thank you, Jack. Is there anyone in support of this zoning change?
Ken, will you repeat to Mr. Bone?
Is there anybody here to speak in support of this zoning change?
I would conclude that Jack was when he did the presentation.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. If that's supposed to be me, yes, I'm in support of it. For the reasons I just stated.
Are there anyone who opposes this zoning change?
Mr. Mayor, just as a clarification, do the folks watching this on either of the two
I guess you do need to call.
have a number to?
Yeah, I would pause for, I've got a timer for 1 minute after calling for any comments. That should give anyone watching the live stream time to call in to, and I'll ask the clerk to give that
Yes.
number.
Oh, you,
That number
go ahead.
is 706-707-8801.
And I'll ask that we kind of start the timer right now, since we just gave the number out. So that's about another minute. It's been just over a minute, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So no one called in for or against? At this time, the public hearing is closed. It's back to our council members for decision. So are there any comments from our council members? If not, we will get a motion to approve this zoning request for Jack Bowman neighborhood, commercial C2 to small lot residential.
You know, Mr. Mayor, when I look at this, it does seem to meet most of the criteria in the planning department report. The fact that it has remained undeveloped
For a long
for
time.
70 years
Yeah.
kind of dictates to me there might be some merit in changing the zoning to something that might work for that semi-prime location right there.
Well, I think we talk about affordable homes all the time, so
Yeah.
maybe now's a good time to,
I just ask that, Bryce, that we are careful in neighborhoods that are not in the historic district and not within a subdivision that has covenants, to make sure that some of the driveway specifications, because I think that we have some and we need to enforce those, or maybe make sure the builder understands that there are
That's,
going to be
I may.
concrete.
that is actually a question outside of zoning. That's a
Okay,
building code,
okay.
so that
But just
actually
make
isn't
sure that any new zoning.
noted,
Yeah,
noted,
okay.
but just letting you know in that case.
Yeah.
So that doesn't actually have a bearing
Okay.
on the zoning decision.
And as a kind of an unimportant side note, I thought it was interesting, I learned that this neighborhood was known as Beacon Lights with an L, and I had never realized that. It makes sense, I know it was related to the lights for the airport, but I never knew it was called Beacon Lights. Anyway,
there are more comments?
No,
If not, we can get a motion to approve
I
this.
move that we approve this. That's rezoned from C2 to R4.
I'll second it.
It's been motion and second that we approve the rezoning request. There more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposers, none. Let the record show the vote were unanimously. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
I
Now
think
we
Ken's
can-
trying to sort out the audio. The laptop was borrowed this weekend and everything's plugged back in, but it's, okay,
They got it. Okay.
all right.
Jack, can you hear better now?
Yes, I can.
We can hear you real good now.
Well, I'm hanging up.
Okay. B, public hearing, various requests, Christine McCauley, 15 feet, I guess, various requests to approve setback of 20 feet, section 800.41 for 757 Jasper Street, M10023.
Thank you, sir. The applicant is seeking a variance for their pool they wish to put in. It has already received a COA. The Planning Commission gave a unanimous recommendation to approve this request. The applicant is seeking this variance request for several reasons. The primary one is, as you'll notice from the aerial photo shown on screen, and as well as from the documents in your packet, that the house is fairly close, and with a 20-foot setback, it doesn't leave a lot of room for them to actually have an actual functioning pool. I think it comes out to, if my memory serves correctly, about a 6-foot wide pool, maybe a 5-foot wide pool, or 4-foot wide pool, and that's assuming they put the pool within about a foot from the building, which is a bit of a technically possible, but really not entirely a practical option. So even if they put the pool 5 feet from the house, and they're pretty much left with not much. So that's essentially the rationale behind this request. As I mentioned, and this board has always asked, the mayor council has asked before in the past about the planning, Historic Preservation Commission, they did get a COA, so it does meet that. So if this is approved for a variance request, they'll be able to get the permits if they choose to pursue this further and start construction on the pool. If this is denied, then they have to figure plan B.
What's the rationale for having the setbacks so large from, I mean, like, because there are a lot of small lots that you can now do these pools that are just the, you know, the narrow pools or the kidney pools. What is the zoning rationale for having large setbacks from fences and? is there one, or is it just historically we've had that, or?
Some of that history dates back to people when they had larger lots, putting pools right on the edge of the property line, and some people do have questions about noise and, you know, a bunch of screaming kids. But a couple of factors balance it out. That in this case, at least the property owner behind them has put a letter in that should be in your packet saying this issue doesn't give them concern, as they're the people who be affected.
Okay.
The second thing about the fencing, that's actually a state code that you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
put the fencing up. So that's, well, no matter what
Yeah.
we do, that has to go in. But that's the case. So in this case, because the house is, the pre-existing house, the house predates zoning, so this is not a case of someone having created the situation, per
Yeah.
se. They kind of walked into it. That's basically sort of some of the rationale behind it. And also, in this case, it's not a large pool. It's not because if you don't have that rule, someone could put in the big pool that's designed with the idea of a whole bunch of kids coming over and
Yeah.
making a lot of noise. This
I mean,
is a
I
much
guess there's
smaller
a
pool.
danger issue with the pool being so close to a house, or, I mean, I just don't know. I'm just
Well,
curious.
in terms of being proximity to the
Yeah.
house, the closer you get to the house, the more complicated it gets digging. You have to be careful about hitting any lines, if they have any lines running from the house that direction, a few other factors. But really, at some point, it just becomes you don't want to dig too close to your house's foundation. So you want at least 5-10 feet between you and the house. Maybe people can go various distances, but and it can be done safely either way. But all that aside, in this case, in regards to your question about variances, we'll be hearing them each time as they come up due to the circumstances. So, and that way we have that leeway. And when we revise the zoning ordinance, we could look at those.
Yeah,
but
just
we may
because
not-
people are getting so creative with them. A lot of these pools are not the
Oh.
traditional square. you
Well,
know.
I think these guys are basically doing a rectangle. They're not
Yeah.
being particularly fancy in their design. But I would say that in this instance, I would point out that they basically are, that's the rationale behind why they're requesting this.
Gotcha.
And it is, when we revise the zoning ordinance, we'll be happy if you give staff the direction to look at
Well,
pools.
yeah, I'm just curious.
But we're going down a rabbit hole.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that question, Chris, because I had the same idea in my mind. Now, if you look at the aerial map, I believe the neighboring property behind the Macaulay residence there, or the Watts residence, excuse me, there seems to be an outbuilding within, I believe the zoning allows within 5 feet of the property line, but a pool is considerably more required, and it makes no sense to me, because you can see the building. Seems to be much more obtrusive to the public. I don't know what the public interest really is.
Well, and you can compare accessory structures, in my opinion, between a building and a pool, but what typically when a building is built, the end of the building is it. But a pool typically has a deck, and it needs screening around it and needs a fence. So I think the idea contemplated larger lots and contemplated a neighbor wanting a little bit more of a buffer between, between themselves and a hole in someone else's backyard. So it could probably be, my thinking is that if you get a slew of these, then you might need to change. But if you don't get a ton of them, then you might be about right. I'm not sure. It could be less than 10 or 15 feet, but I don't know how much effect it'll have.
You know, I think, David, in looking at setbacks and the public interest, I mean, we've had previous cases where the public interest maybe for setbacks between houses makes sense to me, because visually you want that kind of spacing. This particular setback with the pool, no one is going to know that there is a pool or where it's located or anything. I don't see the same level of public interest as in other cases we've had. My personal
Is
feeling.
there a requirement for decking? I mean, like what is the standard for the decking?
The fence is the only thing required.
The fence is
No,
only
you don't have to have a
required.
deck.
Correct. And then,
It could be sod up to the edge of the pool.
Yeah.
And the HPC did approve hardscaping, and I can't recall whether there was decking included, but the entire hardscaping, including the pool, was approved by HPC pending the variance request here.
And I wonder how many people put pools in without going before this. I mean, have you had to do anything retroactive before, David? I mean, is there You have to pull a permit, right? You're supposed to.
I think didn't we have one on East Avenue not long ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've had several pool permits pulled in addition.
Well, I mean,
to-
they requested a variance.
Yes, sir. But we've had a number of other pool permits that have been on larger lots that haven't had this, or they're
This-
building a
yeah,
house,
doesn't
so.
have to- Yeah, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, the public will open for comments, for those who are in support.
Start the clock, Mr. Mayor.
All right. That's it.
It's 1 minute.
And with that, anyone who oppose this, this change, rezoner?
Bryce, can I ask you a question while we're, the way it is worded, it says it says 15 feet, variance of 15 feet to the 20-foot setback, or 20-foot variance. I could kind of misinterpret that it was going to be, you're going to reduce it by 15. Maybe it should read that it's be changed from 20 to 15 feet.
But
I can see that misinterpretation from me, because it says
But that is
variance
it.
of 15 feet to the 20-foot setback.
All right, well, if the summary language, I think.
No,
might
I
actually-
just want to make sure that there's no,
But it is down to 5 feet, so it is a 15-foot variance to the, am I getting there? It was 20
right.
feet in the ordinance, and we're reducing this case down to 2.5. So it is a 15-foot
Variance.
adjustment.
Okay, the public hearing is closed on that. Are there any more comments from my council members? If not, if we could get a motion to approve this variance request by Christine McCauley, 15 feet variance request to the pool setback of 20 feet, section 800.4 for 757 Jasper Street, M10023.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none, vote unanimously. Public hearing, annexation request Downtown Development Authority Tax Parcel 036053D. Bryce?
Thank you, sir. This is a fairly straightforward request. This was a portion of property bought by the Downtown Development Authority, and they're seeking to annex it into the city. It is currently undeveloped and is only accessible from March Street. Well, the most accessible way is from March Street or to come in through behind Cannon. It borders the area the city has just annexed. And given some of the terrain features, it's probably not going to be developed at any point in the future. It's mainly going to be held as a green space. So that said, just to let you folks know as a reminder, we'll need either two motions or a clear joint motion indicating an annexation, as well as a rezone to R1 to reflect the area around it, which is zoned R1.
I'd suggest doing separate motions.
Right.
That's totally fine.
And there's a particular order to this. It's kind of convoluted, so I hope you know which way to go.
Annexation first, and then the rezone.
Okay.
Just on the grounds that once we claim we wish to have it, we can then say this should be the zoning. So.
But do you have both hearings first?
I don't see an issue with having a hearing, public comment on either motion, just to simplify people trying to call in, as it is one property at this point. So, but as long as we give the public the chance to speak on both and then take two votes, I don't see an issue with that. We just need to make clear that this is the public hearing on the annexation and rezone request.
Mr. Mayor, may I suggest that we hold it open for 1 minute for
Sure.
either opposition or support
Sure. Those who support or oppose?
to the annexation and rezoning of the annexed parcel?
Is the public hearing open?
It's open, yes.
Okay, and I'll call that number out real quick, 706-707-8801.
And Bryce, did you say that, like previous annexation requests, there has been no objection from the county?
We have received no comment from the county.
And they get a certified
Yes,
letter,
sir.
whatever that is?
Yes, sir. We've received no public comment or comment from the county on this matter.
This public hearing is closed. It's back to our council members for comments and a vote for the annexation request Downtown Development Authority Tax Parcel 036053D.
Just a question for Ed. I assume, Ed, that the arguments for and against this annexation are pretty much track the same discussion we had for the adjoining properties for the rest of the development?
That is correct.
I'm trying to be super careful about this, about the procedure. So you had a public hearing for the annexation. I would suggest that you open a public hearing for the rezone at this time and do the same 1 minute for comment.
Okay. Public hearing is open for rezoning. Tax parcel 036053D to be rezoned large lot residential.
Which is the closest zoning category to what it was zoned in the county, correct?
Yes, sir.
Bryce? Okay, which is,
It also
Law.
complies with the other zoning we have and around it as well. So it's one of our default transitions, sir.
Public hearing is open for that, so. You got your time on?
yes, sir. Okay,
Public
Mr.
hearing
Mayor?
is closed. Are there more comments? We can receive a motion, comments from my council.
Need a
We don't need a
motion on the annexation first. Can't rezone if you don't have it in the city, so, motion on annexation first and then rezone.
C, public hearing on, the annexation request, Downtown Development Authority.
So moved.
Annexation request, can we get a motion?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none, vote unanimously. Rezoning? If there are no more comments from the council, we can get a motion to approve the rezoning.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we rezone tax parcel 0360-053D to be rezoned large lot residential.
Second?
Are there more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none, vote unanimously. Thank you so much. Legal matters, contract lease agreement at 285 North Main Street. Is that you, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the interest of time and location, I'll present from behind you. This is actually a 13-month lease between Ms. Lambert and the city. This is the former Georgia Power and most of late attorney's offices at 285 North Main Street. We will relocate sometime in the month of January. We're looking to do that, to start moving down there to vacate City Hall in preparation of renovation work. And this month, this is a typical lease. The attorney has reviewed the lease agreement. It's $2,800 per month. And I'll answer any questions you have, if you have any questions.
So, I was a little unsure. It appears that this contract has already started, the lease agreement?
Well, it may have been dated back, and it was our agreement that the review and the actual approval would be in the middle of the month. But in fairness to the property owner, we have access to the building. We're going to be moving in this month, so I wanted to secure it for the month of December. So
Okay.
And he also said it was going to be a 13-month lease.
that's right. So
So this
December
makes it a
through,
13-month lease.
that makes it a 13-month lease. December of this year, December of this year through the end of December
Okay,
of next year.
one question I had for Ed and for Chris would be, I know zero about value, much less commercial real estate value. Is the pricing, normal pricing, does it seem about right, the $2,800 a month for that?
Well, it's 2,900 square feet?
It's a rather large office building. It's very nice office space. It's some of the best in downtown.
Actually, It's
So-
probably a little bit below market value, in my opinion. I don't know about Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's what, $10, what would
That's
that be?
less than
like
$10 a foot.
Yeah, so is it, commercial, what is it, usually it's between 8 and 10?
So I think it's a very fair lease.
Okay, all right.
The fact that we don't have to do a lot of
We don't-
improvements in there, it will function. with-
The only thing we're going to do is put up tempered glass at the front counter. It's set up for walk-up customers. As of today, I'll cut the IT person loose as far as making putting the equipment. It won't require a whole lot. We'll just have to put the power into the city's name, and of course, we'll do the water and the sewer and gas. Probably doesn't have gas because it was a Georgia Power building. So we will do the things that we need to do to start moving, and we may move not all at once. We may move employees down as we go, but we're trying to vacate City Hall to let the contractor or let a contractor do some demo to figure out what our last final scope is for that project. And once we get out, it sets up very well, and I appreciate the mayor thinking of this because he mentioned, and I hadn't thought of it, but it's parking is great for customers. It's accessible. There's plenty of parking for employees in the back. So other than relocating a sign and just getting the word out to the public, our phones will unplug from City Hall and plug in down there. Computers will do the same thing. So I think it'll be, other than having to get our stuff packed up and get down there, that'll be quite an undertaking. Because as you know, we've been in City Hall for several decades, so we'll have some,
So
quite a task.
The only thing that I would make sure, maybe you spell it out, is the renewal terms. It gives her the right to increase if you go beyond the 13. I just might want to find out what that cap is, but you think you'll be done in 13 months?
Yes. The architect knows that. I've talked to them and a contractor that probably would be interested. I'm not sure that they would be. I'm not going to
It says
presuppose.
she has to give you 60 days notice
Right.
if she increases it, so maybe that's a little bit of a cushion to. hurry
Being,
up.
being a bit old-fashioned, knowing the person I'm dealing with means
Yeah.
a lot to me, so.
Yeah, no,
I
So
think
our real estate experts feel it's an equitable
it's
contract
a
for
Georgia real
taxpayers.
estate lease, it's
It's a
pretty
standard
cut
lease.
and dry, so.
Okay.
The other thing I was a bit concerned about was that the property owner might not be interested in a one-year lease. I mean, this person probably wants, 3 or 5 year. They probably want more of a longer-term tenant. But I'm pleased that we're able to find something that will inconvenience the public at the very least. And again, other than the move, it sets up perfect for City Hall. We have an office for everybody that needs an office. We've got walk-up space. As a matter of fact, I think the public might like it a bit more. They'll be driving up to the front
Yeah.
door as opposed to walking around the
Yeah.
corner, so.
So I assume, David, you're, from what you know of the construction timeline and all that, it's all going to fit within that 1 year and not,
Based on my conversations with the architect and a good contractor that, again, I'm not presupposing that they'll get the job, they'll have to bid on it like everyone else, but that if we get in at the end of the first quarter, if we can do the bidding and get the bid and contract let anytime within the first quarter, then we should have plenty of time to demo the building and get it put back. I mean, we're not building brand new, and I know it'll take a good bit of time, but we're confident that we would be done in time to be back in by the end of the year.
There are more questions for David? If not, we can approve this lease agreement, 285 North Main Street.
So moved.
Second.
There more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, is none, vote unanimously. Bed and breakfast renewal of the Kirby House.
Yes, sir. I will also stay in my seat. I don't think people can see me off screen, but this is Ashley Hawk, City Clerk. Every year, we have bed and breakfast to renew they have to get approved for the next year. So Jeff Royal, like he does every year, has submitted his application. He's gotten signed off from fire and the building inspector. Zoning confirmation, everything he needs, he has presented to me. I believe, we had the change in the zoning text from a 4 to a 6 bedroom, but that is a variance. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. So
That is
right
correct.
now, it is just the 4 bedroom that he is reapplying for.
Okay, good.
Just
And
wanna
he
make
has
that
to apply for that
clarification.
variance also. Remember, as we
Right.
voted on that, it didn't
we-
grant it. He has
also-
to come back
Right,
and
he has to come back.
Right.
Yeah,
So I just want to make that clear that this is for
okay.
every other year in the 4 bedrooms.
We get a motion to approve this bed and breakfast renewal?
So moved.
second.
There more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Vote unanimously. Thank you so much. Beer and wine, amenity permit, antiques on the square, DBA BB&G, 115 South Main Street, applicant Teresa Bishop.
Yes, sir. I received an application. I went ahead and placed Ms. Bishop on the agenda. This is all kind of moving a little fast. I got her full application on Friday. I added her to the agenda on Thursday because starting the beginning of the year or at some point in 2021, applications for beer and wine licenses will be done through the state, one centralized process. So it gives me a little bit of angst. So I wanted to go ahead and get Ms. Bishop on the agenda. She is applying for the amenity permit for both BB&G and TJ Bishop's men's store. Again, those will need to be separate approvals, but I have received her application and everything I need to move forward with issuing her a local license so that she can then go to the state and apply for the year-long license for 2021.
Okay.
so are these are the, I believe, the second and third amenity requests?
Yes.
There more discussion? If not, if we can receive a motion to approve, then
I move to approve the amenity license request for both those businesses.
I'll second.
are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed is none, vote unanimously. Okay, so we have to do them separately. The beer and wine retail packets, okay,
Do we want to make two separate motions
separate motions
for
for the-
TJ Bishop,
for
for
TJ.
BB&G and then TJ Bishops? Because
Right.
those will be two different licenses because they are permitted to
Two-
each address. So
So the first one we just made, was it
Yes.
for BB&G?
let's do BB&G since it's
Yeah, that would be
listed
the one
first.
for TJ Bishop Men's Shop.
Okay, so we're making the one now for TJ Bishops?
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the one for TJ Bishops.
I'll second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands.
Public service
Opposed is
appointments
none.
pending
Vote
appointments on a
unanimously.
committee. 3-year terms, 2 terms, January 2021
What
to
is he-
December.
Sorry, gentlemen
What is he
and
doing
ladies,
over there?
and Ken.
Asterisk,
I don't wanna-
reappointment. 2 members of mayor and council
You
serve
probably
as
hit the read
members.
aloud
The
button.
manager and clerk serve as non-voting ex officio members.
That is, it's not easy, but you're making me look good.
Terms.
Don't feel bad, I would start talking this morning too. Yeah, so.
Get out of there.
You started talking too? I don't know how that happens.
Mine as
It's a
well.
mystery.
They're
Yeah,
very-
mine did when I first
this
turned
is
it on
like
this morning.
the Complicated technology.
We each need our own private cloaker sitting next to us.
Okay. Okay, beer and wine retail package application, is that Patola
Yep.
LLC DBA Madison Chevron, 1990 Eatonton Road, applicant
I
Pastola, I don't know.
Yep, sounds good to me. Yes, sir. This is the application that I mentioned when we did renewals on December 4th. It was the Chevron, the one that's attached to This and That Breakfast. The owner was in the middle of trying to figure out the sale of the business, which he has done, and that is what this application is for. They will take over 1990 Eatonton Road to sell beer and wine. And I believe the lease had been signed in October, but the new owner will not take over until January 1. So hopefully getting this approved this morning will give them time to get into the state and get that new license by January 1. But I have received everything on my checklist for them to be approved.
Are there any comments from council? If not, if we can receive a motion to approve this application for Pastola.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed is none, vote unanimously. Public service appointments, Ken?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
You have appointments pending for 4 boards this morning. I do see Martha Harrell on the virtual meeting. She has applied to be on the Cemetery Stewardship Commission, but we will be dealing with that at a future meeting.
Okay.
That's why Ms. Harrell's on. I thought I'd let her know that. She might have just been on just to watch you do your work. But the first up is the Planning and Zoning Commission. You have 4 seats to fill. You have 3 of your current commission members seeking reappointment. Rich Wall has bowed out because of time commitments. So assume if you do appoint the 3 reappointees, you have 2 others to choose from. These are 3-year terms, so they'll start in January and go till December of 2023.
So we've got the 3 reappointments, and then 1 spot's open, is that right?
That's correct.
So we have to choose between Terry or Brian?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. All right, and then I noticed that there is an applicant for HPC that does not live in the historic district.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And how many openings are on that?
Okay, so for the Historic Preservation Commission, there are 3 seats to be appointed.
Okay,
You have 2 seeking reappointment. Beth Scott has declined reappointment, so
Mhm.
then you do have Lily,
between Lilly and Westwall. I mean, but I would think that we can't, I mean, I don't know what the rules are, but I thought that you can't
So-
serve on
so
the,
by tradition,
Yeah.
this council has always appointed people who live in the historic district.
Okay.
There's nothing in the ordinance or state law. that
Okay.
requires that.
all right, gotcha. I've never been real clear on it.
And that theory is that we want to apply laws that apply to us as well as the
Yeah.
general public. And I think
That's
we've-
right. I mean-
I don't believe it's in writing, but it certainly has been followed for many, many years. I might add, kind of related to that, as I'm going through these, I keep seeing Four Lakes Road popping up all over the place. I thought, what's going on down there? Well, two of them were the same person, so.
Yeah, and I
It's a
think
little,
the-
so it kind of, it's, the two are related, so
Yeah.
if we end up doing Ryan Marks, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
if he, for example, since he's the one who lives in the district, if he goes to HPC, then he would not be
Well, I think it's
obviously
Lily.
in the running
that's-
for the other one, which I think was,
I think that's Lily.
Yeah, Lily
Yeah.
is the one. Ryan has applied for both planning and zoning or for.
yeah.
So-
So kind of keep that in mind, and then,
And then since we kind of, I thought we were gonna take them one by one, but I might as well just go through.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Corridor Design Commission, we have 3 terms that have just completed, or are being completed this month. All 3 of those members are seeking reappointment. And then we do have a term that has, it's vacant and unexpired, so that seat is open as well. The reappointments or appointments would be for 2-year terms, and the unexpired vacant term has, looks like about a year left on it. And then Audit Committee, you have 2 terms to appoint. They're 3-year terms. You have 2 applicants, both of them are seeking reappointment. And I believe you're required to have one of them be an accountant and Mr. Lee.
I'm just grateful that they're back every time.
They do a great job.
They do. I can't imagine
Yeah.
doing that one. So, well, I'm happy to start this.
Well, go
if
ahead.
Somebody wants, so I would go to,
Which board are we going first?
I think the Audit Committee. I move that we reappoint Tim Ligon and Judy Sims to the Audit Committee.
Second?
I've had a more discussion. All in favor, show of hands. Opposers, none. Vote unanimously. Okay.
I move that we appoint Ryan Marks to the Corridor Design Commission. And Vince Campbell, and Brooks Pendon III, and Bob Senneth.
And what
I'm
commission
sorry,
did
what,
you say?
didn't catch
Yeah.
the last.
The Corridor
Corridor
Design.
Designs.
And you said reappoint,
Vince Campbell, Brooks Pennington III, and Robert Senneth, and then appoint Ryan Marks.
And just for
Art.
clarification,
Okay.
Mr. Marks, you are appointing him to a
Yes.
vacant term?
Yes,
That's a motion.
yes.
Got a second?
Second?
Any more discussion?
So, just, I'm sorry, so,
It looks like it, Eric, that there are only 3 terms available, but there's 3 and then 1 unexpired vacant term, if that's where you were pondering.
so if I got a little lost here,
I'm with
Chris,
Eric.
I'm
So I'm
lost too.
reappointing, I'm asking you guys to consider reappointing Vince Campbell, Brooks Pennington, Bob Sennett to the 3 terms, and Ryan Marks to the unexpired vacant term.
So was Ryan the only one that applied? This is Corridor Design that we're on, correct?
He's the only new
He's
face.
the only new face.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you now.
but then, yeah, okay, well then that means that he would not be available.
That is
on
correct.
the corridor.
That's
Right.
right.
Perhaps the 2 candidates who won't be selected tonight, perhaps they would be interested in moving to that slot. I don't want to get overly complicated here, but.
So there's
the-
only one spot, all right, so you're worried about the planning and zoning
Yeah, his
position? There's only
concern.
one available there, so it's between Terry and Ryan.
Right.
So what I'm saying is,
If
I'd
it's
like
a-
to see Ryan on the corridor and Terry on planning and zoning.
And I agree with that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does to me now. I was confused at first.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm gonna go back and do corridor.
Okay, please.
All right, so I move that we reappoint Vince Campbell, Brooks Penny III, Robert Seniff to the 3 terms, and Ryan Marks to the 1 unexpired vacant term.
And I second that motion.
That about discussion?
Okay.
All in favor, show of hands. Opposers, none, vote unanimously.
For historic preservation, I recommend that we reappoint, thankfully, Flynn Clyburn, and
Yes.
gratefully, Flynn Clyburn
Bradley
and Brad
Rice.
Rice. And then appoint Wes Riles for the, as the new member.
I second that motion.
Is there more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Vote unanimously.
And for planning and zoning, we're lucky and fortunate to have Sherry Terrell, Robert Trulock, Kendra Wyatt
Yes.
to reappoint, and I recommend that we appoint Terry Hurt as the new member for the 4 terms.
I second that motion.
Is there more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposers, none, the vote unanimously.
You know, Mr. Mayor, if I could, I probably have said this a couple of times, but every time we do these votes on our commission members, I just got to express my appreciation to everyone who has served and is serving. I mean, the amount of years they've spent and the amount of expertise they bring to the city. It's really a great example of civic responsibility, and we are very fortunate here in Madison to have so many citizens like that.
All right. Well, it's good when people want to serve, you know.
Yes.
It's great when people really want to serve. That are public comments. For a minute, I guess we'll allow people to come in for public comments.
706-707-8801.
Because they do kind of relate to each other, we don't really have.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make an announcement. As you know, as you live in that neighborhood, North Avenue crossing is being reworked as we speak, and much needed work that had to go into the rails and the ties, and they got it open temporarily, but it will be closing again on Friday afternoon after Remus truck traffic clears. And they will be putting in more, the rubber, I'm not sure in what you call it, but it's another component of a good crossing. And then later in the weekend, perhaps even Monday, they will be paving, putting new asphalt in. So that's really phase 1 of that. Phase 2 will be the main line of the railroad CPR Cater Parrott, and that crossing will be redone as well, and then we'll experience some of the same closures. That's more affects North Avenue because the truck traffic will be able to move around through Bass Road, so it'll be a little bit less, but I do appreciate the neighborhood's forbearance on the inconvenience, and I know I don't take that lightly, but North Avenue is a bit of a rough crossing, and I'm glad to get that done, and appreciate the railroad and everybody being patient with us.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
David.
your input in writing to get
Thank
this
you
down
for
to
it.
the officials, and I think the neighbors in the area could be discomfortable for a while.
Yes,
Because
very
it'll make a
much so.
difference.
Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor,
thank you
before-
for that.
Before you close the public comment in the meeting, I did have something under new business I wanted to bring up briefly.
Okay.
Just so you know, I'm not sure where that fits in. I believe I missed that on the appropriate agenda time, but. Are you?
Go ahead.
You want me to go now, or you want to?
Just go ahead now.
Okay. At the suggestion of a couple of members of the city council and our city manager, David Nunn, I put out this one, and forgive my tardiness in putting this out, but I have a one-sentence thing regarding COVID and mask wearing, and I sent that to you in an email this morning. If I could read that, I would like to see if the council is willing to either vote or orally kind of agree, but it reads, as COVID-19 infection rates increase sharply both nationally and in Georgia, the Madison City Council reminds citizens of Madison of the emergency order of August 19th, 2020. the mayor and council strongly urge all citizens and visitors to protect ourselves and others by wearing face masks whenever in public in the city of Madison. And it's just a restatement of what we passed a number, we might need to help remind our citizens the importance of that.
Well, we can certainly remind them. I think we all know Georgia counts is going up rapidly, and we are in dangerous times now. From Thanksgiving on throughout the Christmas holidays. So we will hope that our citizens will heed to that.
Is that a statement that everyone is agreeable to?
I believe just a nod, if you all.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before the council?
Can I ask David one more time? You said the railroad crossing is open temporarily, David?
Yeah.
And it'll be open?
Yes, there's gravel back in it right now, and it'll be back closed Friday afternoon. And I'll ask Ken to put it out, blast
Thank you.
it, put it out on all our social media and the website and whatnot.
Okay.
And I'll be communicating with REMA. They're the industry that gets locked in because of their trucks. They can't go North Fifth and MLK, and
Right.
can't do that. And I hope that didn't happen any over the weekend. I pray it didn't.
See any.
I didn't see
Well, that's
any
good.
either.
We usually see the damage. But anyway, then after, and then next weekend will be closed from Friday afternoon through, maybe through Monday. It just depends on how quickly they get all that done. So thank you.
But thank you.
Yeah, well, I came across it this morning, a little
Yeah.
rough, but I can have.
Yeah, it's just gravel. Gravel be taken back out, and more components or more elements of that crossing will be in there.
Mr. Mayor, David, the crossing that was put in from Bethany Road across the bypass, that is in the city limits, is it not?
Yes, portions of but the right-of-way, I think, is within the city limits.
We need to start patrolling that, because if you look, and I've seen, and I've tried to stop, you got pickup trucks, generally it's a pickup truck going across, and they're going straight across,
Oh, wow.
which is violation, and somebody's gonna get killed. Something's gonna happen. I don't know what we need to do there. I have mentioned this to Bill in the past, and he was going to look at it, and I think we need to keep an eye on it, because it's getting more and more frequent. It was just very rare, but if you look at this little buildup they have, there's tire marks all over it. So it's an indication they're definitely shooting across there.
Well, I apologize for the way I'm going to put this, but you just, and I will get with Bill, and he will share it with the sheriff, and we'll watch that intersection as much as we can, but there's simply no way to fix stupid. If anybody does that now, after all of the accidents that have been out there and the sight lines and everything else, it's just stupid, just can't be fixed. So people, don't be stupid. That's a dangerous crossing, this reason. And it
David-
works well. It costs you
And David, I
30.
understand stupid can't be fixed,
Yeah.
because people have been trying to fix me for
Yeah.
a long time. But we can't let stupid affect somebody else. And
I understand.
so we may need to make some changes to the design, maybe put spikes up over the top of it so
Well,
they blow their tires.
We didn't have any control over how it was done.
I know
And we
you
certainly
didn't.
don't have any control over fixing anything. So your point's well taken, and regardless of how well any intersection's designed, people think they know better how to do it. So I'll pass that along to the police department. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Is there anything else to come before this council?
Our next meeting is.
Our next meeting will be in January. We do know, we normally have a work session. I think our work session will probably fall on the first of the year. And I know we would not want to be here on the first of the year, so we probably won't have a work session. We shouldn't have
Work
anything new
session.
to talk about. So our next meeting will be 2021. Unless it's something important comes up that our city manager
Friday
has us
before the-
to sign or something.
Friday before the first Monday would be January 1, exactly
Right.
right, Mr. Mayor. So
It's January
we'll just
1st.
leave it open and only meet unless we have to meet.
Something important comes up.
Yes.
At that, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You guys stay safe.
Yeah,
Carrie.
Please stay
Carrie,
safe.
do you remember that test we used to take in